What's up, brothers? Welcome back to Pirtle's Pod. Nor that cats are on the bed. I can't fix them. Welcome back. Rockets 11 in a row. That's not what I'm here to talk about. It is a little bit, but mainly talking about Jalen Green. I would not say I was a Jalen Green hater. I was definitely not a Jalen Green believer. I'm still skeptical at times. But this run that he's been on has been quite insane. He's quite single-handedly carried us to a couple of these victories, right? And late in the season, in the clutch time, that means something to me. So, do I still think he can do this every day consistently for a full season? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. It's hard to tell. I do, however, this does feel good. This does feel good to me, right? What I really want to talk about here was last night, and in multiple of these games, really, but I think last night against the Jazz, what stood out to me, and he has done this a few times now during this run, and it's what kind of shows me that possibly this is for real, is the rebound from that first half. He was awful. Both him and Fred VanVleet were awful. Fred ended up with 17 in the second half. Jalen had 30 in the second half. He had 4 points at halftime. Was awful. Whole team was awful. Everybody was awful. It was a disgraceful offensive performance in that first half. It looked flat. Jazz looked a lot more intense. Late in the season, it's going to happen sometimes. But the fact that they were able to bounce back from that means something. And the fact that he was able to bounce back from a 4-point performance, came out right away in the second half, hit a layup or something, and then hit a three, and that got him going. That's 5 points right there, back-to-back possessions, I believe, and got him going. 30 points in the second half. I think he had 20 in the third quarter. That's what makes me believe it can be for real. And what makes me admit that I was wrong earlier in the year when I said, even if he does become a good scorer, like what much better is he at than Cam Whitmore is? Clearly, I don't think Cam Whitmore. They're two different styles. I don't want to compare them. I still love Cam as a long-term prospect. The physicality, athleticism is all there at a very young age. And it's not a Cam video. It's not a Cam video. I do love Cam. But so he bounced back from terrible first half. Not only did he bounce back from the terrible first half, 4 points, 30 in the second half, whatever, he also still contributed 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and played defense. Like, it's an all-around game. And that is what was missing earlier in the year. Is either score or he doesn't do anything, doesn't affect the game at all. Now he has other elements in his game that are consistently showing up, and his scoring's coming along. Everything is coming together at the right time. Now, as we saw last night, like, shooting is going to go away sometimes. I don't think he's a great shooter. I don't think he'll ever be a great shooter. But it has much improved. He's been hot. And without another threat on the floor, like, there's no Şengün. Like, he's still been able to operate and make plays and create space. Even when he's the only – teams are literally – if you watch the games, teams multiple times in this run have said, don't let Jalen Green beat us. That's all we care about. They're sending multiple defenders at him. They're trapping him. They're everything. He's so explosive and quick. It doesn't matter. Now, imagine You have Alperen Şengün also on the floor. And you add, say, Cam Whitmore into something else who's been lights out shooter. That now creates spacing, creates other options for Jalen. Get it into Şengün. Then people got to focus on Şengün. And then that gets somebody else an easy shot. You got spacing with Cam. There's actual scoring threats out there. This is the Rockets. I know people are like, oh, Jalen's gone on this run without Şengün. He's better without Şengün. He can't play with Şengün. That is not true. He started this run while Şengün was in the lineup. Now it's taken off kind of since because he's his only option. He's the only thing that's able to keep us in the play and run right now. But with Şengün, right before Şengün went out, they were both playing better. Both had peaked. And you're telling me Jalen Green's doing this? Yeah. Jabari Smith plays the 5, starts at the 5 and such. Hey, Jabari's not been a great shooter either. So the spacing thing, but Şengün does take time in the post and stuff. Jock Landale is playing with Jalen Green here. You're telling me you create a scorer and a passer of Alperen's ability, and that's going to somehow make Jalen Green worse? It's not. Will it take some opportunities away from Jalen Green? Maybe. The numbers may not look as good, but the efficiency and such should not take a dip. The only reason it would take a dip is Jalen himself. It's not affected from Şengün. Şengün should only make it better, give him easier looks, because now Jalen doesn't have to create on his own. And that's something that he's got to learn, is getting better off ball, and he was. There this year, there's been a few cuts and backdoors and stuff that have really that Şengün loves to hit, that Jalen's kind of figured out a little bit. So next year, Şengün does not affect Jalen. Jalen controls how Jalen's going to play. This team isn't built so much differently without Şengün. It's worse versions of him, maybe, at times. I mean, yeah, the starting lineup is a little bit different. But overall, it's worse versions of him when you have Jock Landale and stuff in there and company. And Amen Thompson is playing more. That's even less spacing. I know some Rockets fans, people, they want to be fans of players, and I'm tired of it. Because I'm the biggest Şengün fan there is. Not the biggest, but I'm up there. And I just want to see them succeed together. I want to see this team succeed as a whole. And they should complement each other. And they have. I think if you remember coming into this season, everybody's talking about how well they do complement each other. Because they do. So hopefully this confidence and such, both numbers are going to take a dip, right? Like, when Şengün comes back next year, his numbers maybe not look as good as they do this year, as far as maybe his points, because now Jalen's scoring. Now it's less Şengün focused. Jalen's not going to look as good as they are in this run, because now Şengün's there and he's scoring. Or they both take a jump. Jalen's won't look as good as this run. They'll take a jump. Şengün already has a lot to improve, and he's shown that he has throughout the season. Now, given the off season, he gets better and stronger, and hopefully a little bit better of a jump shot. I would project he scores 23-ish points a game. 23 area, maybe a little bit lower, maybe all the way up to 24. I wouldn't say it's going to be higher than that. But that would be my projection, right around the 23 area. 22 to 24-ish would be my guess. Closer to 23. Jalen can do that as well. They could both average that. Now that leaves where does that fit in? Like Jabari. To be honest with you, the more I look at it, Amen Thompson's playing a power forward role beautifully. He could also play the wing. They could also play the Brooks role. I don't care. Amen Thompson, let's say Şengün came back tomorrow. You cannot take Amen out of the freaking starting lineup. Either Jabari goes to the bench or Dillon Brooks goes to the bench. But that gives you a lot of flexibility for this offseason because Amen can play the one, theoretically play the one. He hasn't actually really succeeded at the one. But he can play the one. You want him at the one. He can play that 3 spot like Dillon, be defensive wing. Or he can play he's strong, big, and athletic enough to play the 4. I mean, in some matchups he'd get taken advantage of, but for the most part, he could play the 4. So that gives you a lot of flexibility this offseason. I'm not saying Jabari needs to go, whatever. Somebody's got to go. Dillon Brooks, he's been bad at a lot. He's been bad a lot this second half of the season. I love Dillon Brooks. Love what he brings to the table, to be honest. But he's been bad this season at times. Later. He was really good early. Been bad late. So maybe you use Dillon Brooks and, I don't know, maybe both of them. Maybe both of them gone. You got Tari Eason as well. Maybe both of them are gone. Dillon Brooks and Jabari for a star. Or not a star, but accomplished player. You're hoping Jabari takes a leap, and he has taken a leap from last year, and he has shown a lot of flashes. I remember coming on this pod and praising Jabari when he was dominating on the boards, when he was shooting well, when he was working with the second unit, getting his shots. He just disappears sometimes too much, man. Now I'm not ready to write him off. Like, he could take a year 3 leap. You see the flashes. Obviously, we wrote off Jalen Green kind of, and look at us now. I don't see those same flashes in Jabari, but I do see the perfect mold flashes in this system with Şengün, and I see that. It's just so inconsistent. So I don't know. Luckily, I'm not the one making decisions. I'm just saying there's a lot of flexibility. But Amen needs to be on the floor as much as possible. So whatever it looks like. And you got Cam off the bench. You got Tari coming back. Steven Adams. Let's just look at what we would need to fill next year. Just theoretically, this is getting a little longer. Though I was going to make this like a 5-minute video, but man, I got into it. Let's just look. Fred VanVleet, Jalen, Amen, Jabari. Let's just say we trade Brooks, Amen, Jabari, Şengün. Bench, Cam Whitmore could also be a starter very well. The second one I was thinking of, Tari Eason. People forget. One of the most impactful players on the team, Tari Eason. The advanced metrics in the games that he played, I think he was the best player on the team. And while the box score doesn't fully show it, if you just remotely watch the game, his impact was ridiculous. The steals, he would get. I remember watching. I can think of 2 games. I can't think of the specific team, but I remember watching the play. 2 games where late in a quarter or a half or whatever, he got a late steal. He got an easy dunk or layup on the other end, fast break on the other end to end the quarter. What? Anyway, Steven Adams / Jock Landale. Either one. You can use the other one as a trade bait or whatever you want to do. Or have depth, whatever. Have both of them. They can both play a little bit. Right? So you need to fill a backup point guard. And maybe a little bit of a wing position. Well, we got Cam and maybe like a 3-4. I feel like Tari's like a 3-4 and Whitmore's like a 2-3. backup point guard, maybe a bigger 4. But that's about it. And you can get that with the trade of Dylan Brooks and maybe some free agency and the draft. Like there's options, man. There's options, and the growth of this team from a month ago, 2 months ago to today. There's options. I'm not going to say you can't go wrong within the options. I've said that before. Definitely can go wrong. I've also seen rumors that Jalen Green or Albert Shingun could possibly be traded. One of them two could be traded. That's preposterous. I mean, I get the Jalen Green trade talk a little bit because what it was, and now his stock's probably pretty high. I just don't see it. I don't see it. And if you trade Shingun, you're just insane to me. Yeah, I think the future's bright. I'm excited. So, yeah. So, if you like the video, let me know what you think. I could be completely off. If you're one of my friends that's watching this, just text me if you want. I don't care. I'm genuinely very curious of other people's thoughts. It's pretty crazy. The turnaround is pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. But it's exciting. So, yeah, let me know what you think. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave some suggestions. Getting towards the end of the season, man. A couple games left. And then we'll be talking about something else. So you want to talk about the Stros? I'm not a baseball fan, but 0-2? What are we doing? What the heck? I think it's the first time they're 0-2 since like 2011. I don't know. 162 games, not a big deal. Starting out with a tough Yankees team. Not a big deal. Sucks it is at home. But what are we doing, man? Come on, Stros, go Stros. Supposed to be the freaking backbone of Houston, man. You were the only successful franchise for a while. Now the Rockets are coming up, the Texans are coming up, and don't let us down. Go Stros. I'm not a baseball fan, so by virtue, since I'm in Houston, I am a freaking Stros fan. Go Stros. U of H losing in the Sweet 16. They can't catch a break in the tournament, man. Injuries have hindered them every year for the last 3 years. Jamal Shed getting hurt during the game here, and they kept it close. It's very disappointing. Very upset watching that. I'm not a big UH fan. I played at North Texas. I played against UH in college, as you can see. Actually, I think that picture is against UH. Anyway, so yeah, not UH fan, but I'm in Houston, so love the energy and the H-Town when things are going well, and right now it's the Rockets trending upward, and the Stros and UH trending downward. And we're just hoping the Texans win the Super Bowl next year. Hey, all right. Enough rambling. Yeah, see ya.